Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another live stream. Tremendous. I have a couple of announcements. First off, apologies to Spy and Mash. I told him I had a box, and I did not. I definitely did not have a box. So I feel like a dick. So, mate, I am sorry. Second announcement is Bariatrion. Thank you very much. You are very kind. Bariatrion sent me an adapter, I should say, for the microphone for my phone. And that was very kind of him.
My friends like photobombing.
Sorry about that. That was an advert that just appeared on my phone. Sent me an adapter. Not only did he send me an adapter, he sent me a brick. You know, we were talking the other day about a brick. He sent me a brick. So I got a brick from Bariatrion and an adapter. And I got... What else did I get? I don't know. I'm getting confused. I'm trying to do 2 or 3 things at once now. I feel like a bit of a bell. So if you give me a couple of minutes, I will put the link to... I'll put the link to the coffee if anybody cares to donate. Very kind of you, I must say. Everyone has been so kind and so nice, and thank you for everyone who said happy birthday and donated and bought shit and everything, really. People are fucking extremely nice. You know? So, that's good. And I am about to... What am I about to... Oh, sorry, I've dropped a bollock. I'm just trying to sort myself out. I should have come more prepared. I shouldn't have started yet. I was absolutely certain I had a box for this fragrance. And I don't. So, what the hell? How bizarre. Anywho, let us chill. Oh, strange old day. Strange old day. Oh, I'm tired. Bought myself some boxes for my friend today, which is ironic because I now don't have a box to give to my friend. A bit daft, really. Not to worry. Turn this down. There it is. Oh no, Bariatrion. What did it get up to? You're looking a year older, Mr. Ant, mate. I feel it. Don't you worry about that. I feel years older every day. Goodness me. Oh no, sorry. I need to go onto this And put this in. No, not this. Sorry, this is extremely fucking shit of us to do. I should have come much more prepared. £60 for 72 quid. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna read the chat. Let's see. Ali boy, welcome. Galen says just say no to drugs. 70s duck. Welcome, Bob. Libras for life, says Michael John. That's right. Peter, welcome to you. Joe, welcome to you, and thank you. You're looking a year older, Mr. M, honestly. Dura Rose very kindly sent me a cap from Ireland. It's like a flat cap. And my mother hates it, but everybody else says it looks fucking great, like. And it makes us look, because I've got like a bald head. So it like, bald people look great with hats on. Because obviously, like, you don't look as bald, really. Excuse me. So I've been enjoying that hat. Thank you, Jura Rose. Steph says we are live with the goat and a duck. You're looking a year old. I've read that, sorry. Hello there. Hello, Pradeep. How are you? Spaced Out says, I tried Shergi today for the first time. Amazing. Need to get an older bottle. I tried Volutes a year ago, but this is more dark and complex. Yes, I actually wore Volutes yesterday. Very nice. I still love it. Really nice. Much sweeter than I remember, though. Joe says a brick. So the brick is the part of a phone charger that goes into the socket, you know? And then obviously it comes out and then you attach like the USB cable to it. And I bought a new phone very kindly with the donations that I had from coffee. I suppose I bought it with coffee. And what was I going to say? It didn't come with a brick. Sans brick. You know what I mean? So I was like, what the heck? So now I have a brick. Never got round to trying it before for some reason. It's a brilliant fragrance. Honestly, I was saying this yesterday on the fragrance rotation. You should just try the classics. The classics for a reason. You know, that's not necessarily a comment aimed at you, but just generally everybody, you know. Try stuff like Led Desert Americain, Shergi, Amber Sultan, Ancre Noir. All those ones that everybody's talked about for years and years. There's a reason that they're classics. And it's because they're brilliant, you know. MJ says, evening, scent of the day is psychedelic. Nice. Joe says, it's because you're lovely, Rich. Oh, thanks, man. Barry Atrion lost an auction for vintage Givenchy. Juju. I hope you're well, Juju. Are you still in the hospital? Are you picking up? Oliver Murray says, I was bidding on that too. I also lost. Are you bidding each other up? Hello, Phil Stevens. Scent of the day, Chanel Bel Respiro. Barry Atron says, I bet many bidders are here. Yes. People saying hello to Eugene. Hello. Good day, Shiva Vareen, and good day, Germs. Found a fish that thought it was a bird in a tree today. Didn't work out well, says Eugene. Good Lord. Saw that Givenchy gentleman, forgot to bid on it, £72 and 11 pence. What an outrageous amount. It's the 11 pence that's done it. Do you know what I do? This is Joey Cannoli's fault, this. Every time I bid on a fragrance, right? Say I bid £72, right? Every time I bid on a fragrance, I always put 69 pence on the end. I definitely Joey Cannoli's fault that. But you know, one day I might win a fragrance by 69 pence, and then I'll be fucking buzzing. True story as well, you know. True story as well. I do that. I genuinely do that. Put 69 pence on the bid of on every bid, on the end of every bid. One day I'm going to win a fragrance by 69 pence. Peter Kokoran says, thought you were tincturing that, Eugene. Ooh. Of course. Thank you for the Rich for the explanation. No problem. Peter might use it to create a marine scent. Ooh. Logged in for some duck splaining, says Natalia. Welcome, Natalia. Maybe the fish wanted to try something new, Eugene. I need to sell my 15ml Ambra Nargile bottle just because it's too sweet and I don't wear it for that reason, says Spaced Out. I had a 15ml and then I bought 100ml and it is sweet, but I quite like it. I do like it. I've only got 160ml left. You can't. Don't run out, mate. Don't run out. Dead fish, Calone and Ambroxan, says Peter. Rich, I'm finally home from the hospital. Good. I am happy. Resting up now. Yes. Nice one. Do brilliant people prefer brilliant perfume? I don't know, man. I'm brilliant and I love some shite perfume. Hang on a minute, that was supposed to be the other way around. Ugh. Oh no, screw it. Either way works. Bariatrion. Scent of the day is Le Troisième Homme. Good fragrance. Little bit powdery, but not too powdery. But it's around that kind of powdery little number, powdery little mark, you know? Juju Lamaus. Eugene says, it's good to get out of our comfort zone. And Pradeep is testing queer de sheen. Not really a queer. Yes, I felt that way about it. More like how a girl smells after taking off her leather jacket. It's very specific. I sort of get what you're saying. Welcome, Bob. Joe says, yes, for sure. It is good to try new things, Eugene, but losing your life is probably not worth it. Hi, Rich. Scent of the day is Fahrenheit Parfum, says Phil. Eugene says, blame Joey for everything. That damn Joey Cannoli, says Juju. Old duck shouts at cloud. Quacks at cloud, I suppose. Abe says, what's up? What's up, Abe? Welcome. How are you? Try patchouli magnetic for the first time yesterday after your recommendation, and geez, it is nuclear. I accidentally oversprayed my forearm, and by hour 3 I had to scrub it off. It's massive. It's huge. It's got this lovely vanillic sandalwood creamy dry down though. And it is huge though. Peter says I used to love his videos with his mum. Who, Joey's? Yes. You can still find vintage Joey Cannoli content on the YouTube. You know? There's some good stuff. Howdy, says AW. Scent of the day is OG Cocoa. I've got some. I'm going to wear some of that soon, actually. Oof. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Oh. I'll take my shirt off. My t-shirt off. Oh. What am I doing? There we are. I like it, but I don't know how rare it is, but and how sweet and how intense it is. Just 1 or 2 sprays, 2 at most. Sorry for coughing in your ear. Good afternoon, perfume peeps. Welcome, Anoush. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Shiva says, scent of the day patchouli by Reminiscence, pretty strong. There are some older bottles of that are incredible. Everyone says hi to Anoush. Considering picking it up, says Abe. Spymash says, lol, Bob, just teasing, rubbing it in. I love patchouli, says Juju. Yes, some magnificent patchoulis out there as well. Great job, Miss Juju. Hello, James, my bro, says Bob. Natalia scent of the day is Le Leon. I just got 200ml of the lime for the price of the 75ml, and they added a Chanel lipstick. Somebody had to reduce their collection fast, says Natalia. Jesus. That is, wow. I mean, do you know what it is, right? I'll say this right now. I probably would have bought it at that price. I mean, I wouldn't have worn it, but, you know, I'd have bought it for that price. Probably sold it on. Eugene says, I stole Anoush's Gianfranco Ferré last time I visited. I've got a bottle of that. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know whether I like it or not. It's a bit like Borsalino. Borsalino's good, but I don't know how much I want it. How in hell did you manage to do that, Natalia, says Bob. Misspelled tomato. What a tremendous name. Mr. Mitch, catching you live for the first time. A pleasure. Welcome. Scent of the night is Oud Satin Mood Extrait. Good stuff. Well, that's one of my guilty pleasure fragrances. It's not the type of fragrance that you would think I'd love, but I do actually really quite enjoy it. I remember when I got it, and I was telling Eugene, actually I remember before I got it, I was telling Eugene, I was like, oh, I think I want a bottle of this. And he was like, oh, but it's, I think what he said was that like it's bad and it's nasty and shit, but buy it if you want it, if you like it. And I was like, yeah, I agree. It is bad and nasty and shade, but I really do quite like it. It's a bit like Le Male Essence de Parfum, or Le Male Essence, I should say. L'Essence Le Male, I don't know, something like that. The one with the glass see-through bottle. You know, it's really good. It's vulgar. Oud Satin Mood Extra is a little bit vulgar too. It's got this massiveness about it, you know. But welcome, Misspelled Tomato. It is nice to see you. Beginner's luck, says Natalia. Prodigy says, Etro Goma kind of surprised me this week. Floral, rubbery, worn-in leather. Didn't expect much. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I've got the original Paisley box bottles of Etro. I actually just got a haul in today from the same seller. I got some Lancetti Uomo Lancetti Uomo. I forget how to pronounce it now. But I also got a bottle of Etro's Mahogany. And it's lovely. It's very complicated and complex. There's a lot going on, but it's a very good fragrance. Absolutely. Nonsense, you must have got some tips from Rudy, says Bob. Eugene says, I'm in Santal Messiah, a breezy, fruity dill. It's pretty great. It's pretty brilliant in its simplicity. I really like it for the summer. Sorry. I feel blessed by the perfume gods. Yes, it's always nice to be blessed. Polish perfume sellers are strange, says Natalia. Scent of the day, says Abe, is night clubbing. I'll tell you what my scent of the day is in a minute. Doug, I heard you sold your Habit Rouge. What is it that you didn't like about it? The powderiness. That powdery, lavendery thing. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like overly powdery lavenders. It's very classic. And I mean, it's not. So it's got this kind of 50s, 60s gentleman thing going on, you know? And it's a little bit too vintage for me. There's vintage, and then there's like certain 50s, 60s fragrances which are a little bit, I always think that they're very formal scents. Habit Rouge, Eau Sauvage, less so Eau Sauvage to be fair, but those powdery lavenders, you know, like Caron Pour Un Homme and Habit Rouge, even Le Troisième Homme to a degree. It's not quite as powdery, it's more warm and comforting, but it's just not for me. The citrus contrast as well, I don't know. I'll tell you the kind of powdery vibe I get from it. Do you know at school when kids would get this is taking us back. You remember the blackboards with the chalk, and then people would get the erasers and bash them together, and you get like a cloud of like chalky thing. That's that kind of powder. It's like a gritty, granular sort of powder note that I get from Habit Rouge. I feel like it gets in your teeth, and you can feel it grating a little bit. No. Pradeep says someone was selling a girl on 3 times 100ml oud pack for €300 today. Lol, probably influencer. Maybe they just blind bought them and was absolutely devastated by the fucking poverty scents. I wouldn't care. Poverty scents are fine as long as you pay poverty prices. You know, the problem we've got at the minute is that poverty scents cost a fortune. You know. I beg your pardon. Sorry. I do have this kind of frog on my chest. Hello, Fraghead, says Alan Hansen. Welcome, Alan Hansen. Lovely, Alan. La Cedula Rona 6 by Graf. Steffi Graf. I've heard of Graf before. Hi, Alan, says Joe. Barry Atrion says, did you try Etro's Patchouli as well? No. I've got Ambra, I've got Goma, I've got Vetiver, and I've got Sandal. I've also got Palais Jamais, and now I've got Mahogany as well. But I haven't tried the Patchouli, and I would love to, because, as you know, the Italians do Patchouli the best, in my opinion. Absolutely stunning their Patchoulis, like, so... I would like to try it. I did try their first ever eau de parfum was a patchouli, and that was lovely as well. Peter says horribly overpriced still, Pradeep. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like even £100 for those ouds is shocking. Like they're not great. Like they're not great. Peter sent me a couple of them, which I'll be doing first impressions of. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. Sorry if you like them. This mahogany is beautiful. They are a fucking travesty, says Peter, and he's not wrong. Those girl on ouds are something special, but not the special we like, says Eugene. Hello, everyone. Hello, Antonio. They are a fucking travesty, to be fair. You can't go wrong. Natalia says, I got confirmation on your bottle. It's on the way to my place, says Natalia. You are lovely. Death by powder for me, says Eugene. Only way to go. Yes. This is why it's so interesting and strange that me and Eugene are so close. It's like I say that I don't like powders. He loves powders. I say that I like watercolours. He says he likes pastels. Or pastels. No, it's pastels, isn't it? I just think it's great, like, you know what I mean? I think it's great when you can be so different and still be like really good mates. I think it's fucking fantastic. Like, it's interesting. It's fun. Rewarding. Hello, Fragrance Journey. You're not up in you're not 50 foot in the air, are you? Stay safe. Fragrance Journey, the goat. The goatest goat. The goat of goats. Double goat. Misspelled Tomato. Like, Misspelled Tomato's got one of those awesome names like Irregular Tangent and Tactical Fart. Like, just fucking brilliant, like. I love stuff like that. Sorry. Habit Rouge is one of my favourites. It's only vintage till it's not. Then it's just pure poetry. Ooh. That sounded like poetry. So cool, my brother. Welcome, Andy from Saab Replay. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Bob's scent of the morning is Chamad Pour Homme. Sold my Chamad Pour Homme to Greggy Boy. It went into the pot for buying. What the hell did I buy with that? Oh my God. I've got an outrageous tale to tell you and I feel like a right dick. But also I'm all right with it. You'll know what I mean when I tell you. Peter says, I have Habit Rouge EDC, can't stand it, but people seem to like it on me. I think we've all got a fragrance or two like that. You know? What was it I used to get like people used to say, oh, I love that, I wish you'd wear that all the time. God, what was it? And it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was that I wanted to wear like more offensive stuff. I'm sure it was a Tommy Hilfiger, or it was like it was something that wasn't like artsy or different or anything like that, you know? What was it? I'll let us think. I'll come back to you. But yes, we've all got that kind of thing. Eugene says, Habit Rouge has an EDC top beauty. It has got that very effervescent kind of like sparkly, just opened a bottle of lemonade, citrus top. You know, where like bubbles get up your nose and stuff like that. Where I grew up, everyone used talcum powder, baby, the 60-year-old handlebar moustache, which is why I don't mind powder, says Pradeep. I like that kind of thing as well, where I like the idea of what you're saying, not necessarily, I don't like powder, but I like the idea of how you grow up in like a certain perfume culture. If I was to do that, I would say that the one I grew up in would probably be like Aquatics, you know? I rarely wear an Aquatic these days. One of my favourite Aquatics is something I bought off of Nuge. It's Kenzo Pour Homme. And he sent us the old bottle with like the samurai shit. It's one of the best. It's one of my favourite bottles. I love the shape of the bottle. It's incredible. It wasn't powdered, perhaps. No, it was a little bit powdered, but not hugely powdered. Don't they say opposites attract, says Joe? Could be, yeah. They do say that, like. Yin and yang can't have one without the other, says Eugene. Yes. Do you think they sell old bottles of fragrances in duty-free, like old versions of Mugler, etc.? I have no idea, but if I thought they did, I would buy a plane ticket. I'd just go through and just wipe them out. Just buy everything. Alan says, I tried the 3 new Girl on Ouds a few weeks ago. I like them even more than I thought I would, although I don't love them, and yes, they're overpriced. Viciously overpriced. It's as if they're trying to convince people that they've got real oud in just by increasing the price. You know what I mean? Haha, that's the 10 Noir 29 for now, says Misspelled Tomato. I'd rather not wear it, but I do still end up wearing it. I love it too. I might wear Gucci Pour Homme 2 tomorrow. First bought Tommy Girl on a trip to England in the 90s, says Natalia. It was Tommy Girl, she says. It could have been Tommy Boy or Tommy Man. Or just the original Tommy, really. It's still one of my favourite fragrances to this day. I absolutely love that shit. Tommy was the one that I liked on other people, but on me it smelled awful, says Peter. Oh no. It smells nice on me, hopefully. Pradeep says, today there was a deep focus workshop on uncut gem at the Greenwich, New York Mall boutique. Yeah, I'd have loved to have been there. I'd have probably self-immolated, you know, to just raise awareness. Set fire to myself. I set fire to myself in this workshop to raise awareness of how bad that fragrance is. Tommy Girl is like Modern Aventus, but for teenage girls. Oh dear. Never smelt Tommy Girl, says Dina. Deep focus, good lord, says Natalia. Yeah. I'd have ripped their tongues out like. It's people lying to your face. The scent of the day is Yope. A little dabble do you? Yeah, I might be selling my vintage bottle of that. It's too much. Too much, mate. Too much. So much fragrance. It's so very strong. But then again, I might keep it. I don't know. I've got Night Flight as well, which I sprayed today and had a little smell of. Very good, Pierre Bourdon, wasn't he? Plane ticket from Heathrow to Heathrow just to get into the duty free, yeah. Just the cheapest, shortest flight. Irregular tangent, says Lol Eugene. I can see myself doing that. Yeah, I'd do that. Eugene, you're coming to the UK, says Peter. Hopefully. Eventually. Would love to have heard the outcome from their deep focus, Pradeep, says Joe. Yeah, I would have just sat there and heckled them. Alan says a week ago, Heathrow duty free wasn't as overflowing with perfumed goodness as it was a few years ago, sadly. Yeah, that is sad. It should be one of like the main. I don't know if Gatwick has Gatwick overtaken Heathrow. I don't think it has it? Evening, manly sense. How are you? Eugene says eventually I will. Happy days. Dino says I'll have to book from Manchester to Manchester. Yes, that's right. Joe says protest action at Frederick Mall. Yes, we should glue ourselves. Throw soup all over Uncut Gem. You know. Good evening, manly, says Michael. Almost went 30 minutes without the uncut word being brought. Pradeep, says Bob. I've no intention of trying Uncut Gem after the shocking review, says Peter. Apparently it's doing terribly, which can only be expected and is thoroughly deserved. What has people bought in duty free? Alan's got bought the Fahrenheit and D&G the One. This was years ago. D&G the One EDP. And it wasn't actually duty free. They do this thing at Newcastle Airport where once a year, it's actually coming up, once a year they sell off their excess stock at like a little do at a hotel around the corner. Sorry, I'm gonna have to hydrate. Oh. Oh. Yeah, Zhao bought the wooden derby. That's right. That's an incredible purchase at a duty free. Misspelled Tomato says, a drunken night, I ended up gifting my friend of Portrait of a Lady, Coromandel, and Comme des Garçons 2-man. Dear me. I hope you got them back when you sobered up. I'd have fallen out with them if I had to. Pradeep says, there are criticising comments even on Frederick Mall's social handles. Hopefully message sent. Maybe he never smelled an amberwood fragrance and thought it was innovative. It's so bad. It's so bad. And then the price of it. Misspelled Tomato says, mostly not regretting it, but kind of regretting it. I'm going to have to get them back in my collection. Just get them back off your friend. Dino says, Natalia, that's a great pick. I bet you're glad. The name is more fun to discuss than the fragrance, says Brody. Uncut Gem isn't for the typical Frederick Mall consumer. He's created something outside his consumer base. Yeah. Sorry. Manly Sense says, I keep hearing that Gucci Guilty Absolute was discontinued, but there are always full shelves of it at European airports such as Heathrow and Frankfurt. Every time I go through the department store, I look to see at the Gucci counter, and it's always there. It's always there. I can't wait for it to be discontinued, but it'll stick around at discounters for a while, and then what'll happen is it'll start to go up in price and up and price and up and price. Fortunately, I've got about 600 mil of it. I've got about 4 of those fucking 150 mil bottles. You know? Eugene, do you ever buy samples or do you go for the full bottles? I started to think Frederick Moss trolled some louder executives. Maybe they pissed him off or something, says Barry Atrion. Aye, but I mean, he's basically shat in his own hands and clapped. You know what I mean? If that's the case, like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. He's literally like fucked his own reputation, more so than Maurice Roussel. You know? Because it wasn't Maurice Roussel who signed off on it. I mean, he did create it, and it is his perfume. But Frederick Maul's got to take the responsibility in the end. It's his name on the bottle. I mean, to be fair, it's Maurice Roussel's name on the bottle as well. But Frederick Maul is the person who said, that's what I want to put out. And it's really, really bad. I'd got drinking after that, says James. Yes. Adam D says, hello, Rich. Sorry for later tenors. No, don't be silly. It's fine. Duty frees are huge, especially ones outside the airport, says Bob. Eugene, but that crowd will likely go to Creed apart from Damali, even if Frederick Maul, the obvious choices for Portrait of a Lady, MR. What's MR again? Musgrave Azure. So I don't know how they expect to sell it at such a price point. Maybe it's because no one wants to smell like a horse in a medicine cabinet, says Barry Atron. I like smelling like a horse in a medicine cabinet. But I know what you mean. Goodbye, Natalia. Thanks for coming, yo. I kind of don't mind bad releases, says Misspelled Tomato. All feel like part of an artist's journey. Uncut Gem was him trying to find something way out of his comfort zone. It didn't work. He'll be back to his own self with the next release. Hopefully. Eugene says, product, I'd rather overpay for Uncut Gem than wear Parfum de Marly, but that's just me, says Eugene. Yeah, I'll never wear Parfum de Marly. Maurice hasn't done anything good in the last decade, says Pradeep. It's hard to think of one, isn't it? Michael says, Eugene, what was it made you buy a bottle of Uncut Gem and not just a sample? Just curious. I don't think you did. Paroli says, some of those master perfumers really lost their edge in the last years. It's all focus group. It's all focus group and AI. No, AI creates your favorite, well, the biggest sellers, you know? Crap. Eugene denying that he ever bought Uncut Gem. Peter says, I take it Maurice is working with the Mean now after Chris Chong posted a picture of them together recently. Yikes. But apparently Christopher Chong's got his own brand as well, called Insignia. Horse cabinet, says Bob. Is that like dusty leather saddle covered with iodine? No, it smells like an actual horse, mate. It smells like an actual horse and a medicine cabinet. So I think it's great. Personally, I think it's a fantastic perfume. Very smoky. It's not quite cold enough yet. November's usually wear it November, December, January, maybe into February. Enrique says, the Mean's first perfume under Christopher Chong is Insignia, which was inspired by the late Queen Elizabeth II. I reckon they're just trying to capitalize on that, to be honest. But things are looking up for Thameen with Christopher Chong in charge. If they give him the budget, they'll be fine. And welcome, Enrique. And I am going to the bathroom. Give me 5. I'll be back. Entertain yourselves. Don't break anything. Don't touch anything. Don't touch each other. Don't touch me. Don't touch my new desk. My old new desk. I'll be back. Oh dear. Once again, friends, I have returned. Oh, had soup for me dinner. It was very nice. It was tomato soup from a tin. I enjoyed it. I always think the key to good soup is what bread you have with it. Oh dear. Oh dear me. Right, where are we? Let's have a look. Quack says Saint Reaper. Welcome to you. 40 says Bob. Jem says I'm touching stuff. Well, what you do in your own time is your business. Oh, better not be my stuff. Didn't touch that. Speedwolf says I'm definitely touching a bottle of his Balenciaga Pour On. You have to find them first. I've actually got an outrageous tale to tell you. I just assumed you bought it when I watched your review. My bad, says Michael. Mammy Sense says the balance of power shifted a while back. The perfume has barely any say. Kids in suits wearing Versace Eros calling the shots. Inmates running the asylum. Monkeys running the zoo. 36 says Bob. Barry Atron says, while he's dehydrating, question for chat, something classy, elegant, and sophisticated is Jubilation 25. Oh, you've got an A-chance. That's incredible. I have faith in your thoughts, Duck. I will not pull the trigger on Habit Rouge. I like your taste and swag. Thanks, Stephs. But if you like it, you buy it. You never know. Try it. Tomato soup with a grilled cheese. No, no grilled cheese. Don't eat cheese very much. Although I do put cheese on stuff. I don't eat cheese as something in and of itself. Weird. Because I quite like cheese. Like, sort of. I'm funny with cheese. I'm funny. Bariatrion Ambra Fetiche by Gutala's up there for me. Ambra Fetiche is lovely. There's one by Metro Parfumi Arrogante as well. God, which one is it? Amber Supreme? No. That's Indamidable. Someone please come to me aid. What is it? What are the Ambra Prosciutto? Ambra Prosciutto. Ambra Prosciutto. That's lovely. What's the other one? They've got a couple of ambers. I think they've got like 2 or 3 ambers, haven't they? Oh, Vintage Opium, says Germs. Vintage Opium was lovely. It's totally different on a man than it is on a woman. It's much less narcotic. I took your recommendation on YSL M7 and I love it. That's fantastic. It's a great fragrance. Have you tried Bois Marocain by Tom Ford? Thoughts? Yes, not worth the money. Just another overpriced, undercooked, underblended, reliant on amber wood fragrance. You know? If you like amber wood, fair enough, but I fear that if you can't stand somebody bashing amber woods, you may be on the wrong channel. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying, like, I do not like me amberwood. It's why I don't like Habit Rouge Dress Code. It's why I don't like Leather Blend. It's why I don't like CH Men Privé. But also my eBay account is being suspended for 3 days. Absolute shit. I love cheese, says Scent Reaper. I like cheese. I like cheese. I'm not a great lover. I like cheese with stuff, you know? Cheese salad. Cheese and ham. You know? Cheese on spaghetti bolognese. But not just cheese. Ambra Prosciutto, says Prodigy. Yes, you are right. Spaced Out says Sergio Tonchugui is one of the most classy scents, as well as Sycamore. Guerlain's Vetiver you could go with. God, you want classy, do you? Helmut Lang Cologne. Chergy's a good call. Almost anything by Chanel. Like, I mean, anything, men's or women's. Joe Homme, not the awful one from 2020. An awful scent for an awful year. Joe Homme Intense, if you like. Bois d'Argent by Dior. Oh, God almighty, what else? Beau de Jour. Brie and apples. Mac and cheese. Brie and apples, Hillary. Lord. Also, hello. Rose de Jamal, anything from Les Indemnidables, basically, you could do with. Hillary, I am considering me a bottle of Enchanted Forest by the Vagabond Prince. Do you ever do this? Do you ever associate certain fragrances with certain YouTube channels? Because I do that with Hillary. I do that with a lot of channels. It's not just Hillary, but with Hillary's channel, I always associate Enchanted Forest because she loves that. And I mean, I've smelled it a few times before, and I love it as well. I like that kind of blueberry kind of thing at the top. It's gorgeous. I just hope that it hasn't been reformulated to the point where I would not want it anymore, you know? What happened with eBay? Oh, I listed something that got taken down like a couple of weeks ago, and then I listed something else that got took down on Friday or Saturday. And they were like, "Oh, well, like we're suspending your suspending your account for like 3 days. Next time it'll be 7 days." I was like, I don't know what I've done wrong, but fuck you. Basically, you keep making the rules, I'll keep breaking them. Manly Sense says, Peter, opium EDT is the limit of how powdery I'll go. How's the EDP? Probably I think it's more cloudy than powdery. It's got this wetness. Powdery to me implies like a dryness, you know. Bob says, along the Juby 25 lines, stay in the same house with Opus 6 Bariatra and you won't be sorry to sample. Speedwolf says, Rich, are you fond of vintage opium pour arm? I've got a few bottles of the vintage EDP. I've only seen you speak about opium femme. I've actually got the new opium pour arm EDP, and it's lovely. It's a fantastic reformulation. It's just the performance is a bit shit. The vintage one is obviously a bit better, but not hugely. Like I've got vintage opium pour on, like a few of them, and I've got vintage, and I've got the new opium pour on. They're both EDPs, and I think it's a really good reformulation. If you want the truth. Bleu cheese crumbles on a salad. Yeah, they're all right. A little powerful blue cheese. I actually like blue cheese, like melted. Mac and cheese. Grilled cheese, says Hillary. Brie and apples. That has baffled me. And brie and, not on apples, and apples. Oh, God. Still. Is Rose de Jamal the best rose you have smelled, and does it stand out from other roses? It's one of the best roses I've ever smelled, and does it stand out from other roses? Yes. I mean, a rose is a rose is a rose, but you know what I mean. Hungry now, says Michael. Fried cheese curds. Oh. Mac and cheese for life, throwing some broccoli to justify increased helping, says Bob. Peter does this, not Peter Kokorin, but Peter from Fragrance View does this horrible thing with his mac and cheese. He gets like chopped tomatoes and strains all the juice out and then just puts it on top. And it's like, no. Why did you get smacked by eBay that didn't like my listings? I think you would love Chypre Siam from Rogue Perfume. I think I've smelled it. I'm not a big fan of Rogue. I don't think he can blend very well. He's all right, but again, he's one of these indie perfumers who relies on the greatness of his ingredients. That's a great one, Michael, says Peter. Peter, it's one of my most complimented fragrances, says Michael. Wore it last night too, says the Scent Reaper. Got Black Phantom bottle with the coffre. Finally, it would feel incomplete without it. Yeah, that's half the reason why you buy them, isn't it? But you will pay. You will pay for them coffres, them lids, them boxes, and it just feels a bit, you know, Blue cheese with honey and walnuts on, says Manly Sense. That is some continental shit. Do you like feta cheese on salad? Yeah, funny with feta cheese is very rich. Bariatrian says that Liz Truss loves her cheese too. She's fucking being found out big time, hasn't she? She'll be gone soon, her. Absolutely had the shit kicked out of her. Hello, Omar. How are you? What's your scent of the day? Well, today I wore Chanel's Egoist Cologne Concentrate, and it be thick. It's lovely. Not many wood-scented frags, I guess, other than sandal or cedar. Scent of the day, nothing. Amouage Bracken, pretty enjoyable for my personal taste, says Omar. Quite rightly so, says Joe. Yeah, she's fucking hopelessly. Scent of the day is Romeo Gigli per Uomo. I've got a bottle of that for sale. I don't think I've ever bought a fragrance for the bottle or the box, says Michael. I don't think I've only bought it for that. But I thought about it. And it doesn't hurt, you know. But then again, I've bought fragrances which have crap bottles simply for the juice. So in the end of the day, it should be at least 80, 85, 90% for the juice. Don't buy fragrances just for the bottles. But a good bottle does help. Best Rose Malik Altai from Best Rose Malik Altai from Arish, says Peter. Yes, says Peter. Is cologne concentrate the same as an EDP? Essentially, yeah, it is, yeah. I don't know why they didn't just call it an EDP. It's very thick, though. It's very rich. Rich is the way of putting it. It's a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit woodier. It's just a little bit more. You know. Anyway, here is my tale of what I did, of what I've literally just found out. Oh, Barry Adrian says, Rich, I think you were selling off Davidoff Leather Blend. I am, yes. Do you want it? Didn't you like that one? I did, and then I didn't. Same with CH-Men Privé. Those amber woods, man, just not for me. But anyway, my tale, I have to get this out. So, you remember a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, I got myself a vintage Antaeus. And I was like, aha, I've got a vintage Antaeus. Behold, fear me. So I was looking for a box for Spy and Mash in my cupboard earlier, and found out that indeed I already have a vintage bottle of Antaeus stashed away that I forgot that I'd bought. Like an absolute weapon. So now I've got two. Not necessarily a bad thing, just what the fuck? Oh dear. But I did have to laugh. So, Scent Reaper has not tried Antaeus. That is a scary thought. Omar says, a good rose and oud recommendation. There are thousands, and I realised I don't have any in my collection. Oh. Oud Palau. Oud Palau is probably the only one I've got, I think. Full silver sprayer Antaeus, yep. With the eau de toilette above the Chanel. Product says Ombre Nomad, or if you really want the extreme, the Night. I don't get much rose from the Night. Spy Mash says, be careful, Rich. eBay will ban you again soon and they make you beg for forgiveness. They did it to me, but I don't beg to no one. No, I shan't be begging them to let us back in, to be fair. I'll just set up another account or something silly like that, the bastards. Michael Honor says, sell it to me. Michael, I would, but you're not in the UK and I can't get bottles to you. Sorry, mate. Antaeus intrigues me more than Koros. Yes? Yes. Antaeus, it's probably a more rounded scent, you know? Probably a more rounded scent, but... Antaeus is tremendous. One of the best fragrances ever made, as is Koros, to be fair. Very different, yet similar in ways. Does Givenchy Gentleman 1974 have a great patchouli note? Yes, but it's more of an overall composition than it is just a great patchouli. It is a great patchouli. But it's very sheer, very scratchy, screechy, as Eugene says. You know? But it is a good fragrance. I might wear that soon. It reminds me of Boss Number 1, actually. And Antaeus' Bay, it makes my tongue tickle a bit, says Lily. You want to stop licking it, mate. The deep dry down of Antaeus is better than Koros, says Manly Sense. I think Antaeus is probably the better fragrance all around. But Koros had a bigger impact, you know? Sanriba says, I need to visit the Chanel boutique. I want to try more of the exclusives. I only own Coromandel. Paul's Jr. has done nothing on the same level with the Chanel wider release. He hasn't even fucking started a new line yet. I mean, he's done the Parisians, but it does feel like he's tinkering around the edges rather than getting stuck right in. You know, he needs to drop the hammer. He needs to do something. You know, he needs to piss or get off the pot. He's very technically good. He's technically gifted. Of that, there is no doubt. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Oh, come on, giddy ant. But is he as creative as his dad? Because that's a rare combination, you know, being technically gifted and creative is a rare combination in any walk of life. This trust loves cheese like Demi Rolling loves a top 10. Says Dino. Floral Nuts says, call me weird. You are weird. I might be interested. That Antaeus and a bottle of vintage opium and EDP if you're selling. Jesus Christ, mate. That would cost a lot of money. I don't know that I'd part with the vintage opium. If you're talking about the vintage opium female, I don't know. We can discuss it. But I don't know that I want to sell any of them, to be honest. Excuse me. Woof. But we can talk about it if you want. Floral Note says, call me weird. I don't care, Lamau. But sometimes if perfume fumes get in my mouth, I don't mind it after the alcohol taste goes away. Depends what raw ingredients they use. You won't I think with naturals that it's not so bad, but if they've got a lot of synthetics in it, it's foul. You know? I often taste cocoa when I wear it. Have you ever worn, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Have you worn that vintage cocoa I parted with, Peter? I want to wear that myself soon. It's getting to that kind of weather, isn't it, you know? I share your thoughts about Ferret, says Germs. We also share a birthday. Can people hear any? Can people hear us? Peter scaring us? I share your thoughts about Ferret. It's good, but I didn't feel like I needed a bottle. My mini is fine. Yeah, I love minis. Minis are great for that. Can you hear us, Joe? Is it Peter that's just he's doing this on purpose to wind us up? Peter, turn the volume up. Yes, Kakoran, says Lily. Audio is fine for me, says the Mr. Zanshin. And welcome, Mr. Zanshin. Still waiting to see what MFK will do with your designer stuff, says Scent Reaper. Yes, I'm yeah, I've got to be honest, those reformulations of the three Les exclusives aren't great, like, not for me. Germ says, I'm sure we're related somewhere down the line. Parted at birth? Nearly, by a year anyway. I am a cocoa fiend recently, says Lily. Yep. Seems the audio's okay, apart from for Peter. Vintage Cocoa is magnificent. The modern incarnation, not quite so. Can hear you fine. I'm sure I'll later. I got my bottle of Creed Viking. The jasmine sticks out on me, says Saint Reaper. I'm still in two minds whether to buy it or not. I don't think there's such a thing as sanity, Bob, says Lily. Peter says, vintage cocoa is magnificent. The modern incarnation, not quite so. The vintage cocoa, it reminds me a bit of the Egoist Cologne concentrate and just how rich it is. It's very opulent. It's very... It's a lot of perfume. You know? It's a lot of perfume. I might do a Chanel house overview, like a family portrait, sorry. The problem is every time I do one of those is that I add another fucking bottle almost fucking instantly, like almost as soon as I fucking finish the video. You know? Now I'm selling fragrances as well. It's like, they're going to be irrelevant, the videos, as soon as I've made them. There's such a thing as cocoa maybe being the best scent in the game. Oof. Oof. Bob, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, discount. That's the problem with saying something's the best when you've got such a long history and such a wide variety of fragrances. Somebody else could make as good a point, if not better point, every time. It doesn't matter what fragrance you say. You know? It's like trying to be the toughest person in the world. There's always some nutter from like outer Mongolia who's just going to turn up one day and just knock you out. You know? It's like you could say if, like, I'm taking this as an example, but say if I was to be like, oh, Balenciaga Pour Homm's best perfume ever, and somebody turns around and like they just whip out some perfume I've never heard of before, and I smell it on myself and I'm like, what on earth? And it could just blow us away. You just never know when that's going to happen. And it has happened. You know? Like, I remember thinking... I distinctly remember how I felt when I first smelled Amber Sultan. And just being like, what is this? I really love Vintage 22, says James. I've got a mini off a Nouge of a Vintage 22. That's fantastic. Yeah, the modern Chanel seems a lot more dandyish than the vintage stuff. The vintage stuff's much richer. Almost all of Chanel's like vintage stuff's much richer, much thicker, much denser, much more going on. You know. Produce is them influencers push it, but Lune Feline from Atelier de Rose is quite interesting. Smoky, musky vanilla with cardamom. I've got Iris Fauve, and I think Iris Fauve's really nice. I hate those gold flakes in the bottle. I think that is one of the most tacky things you can ever do with a perfume. It's so childish. If I want a snow globe, I'll buy a bastard snow globe. Get that shit out of the perfume. Why will your videos be irrelevant? Didn't catch that, because almost as soon as I've made them. So, I mean, a specific type of video I've made like 5. If you go on my playlists, you'll see I've done 5 family portraits before, which is where I go through all the fragrances I own from one house. And it's very interesting, a very good concept. I like it, you know. Other people call it other things, but it's the same principle, you know. Excuse me. I've got the hiccups, I've got the yawns. Goodness. I'm going to explode in a minute. I feel like I've taken a bomb. But the problem is, every time I do a video like that, I end up buying another couple. Like, I did a Thierry Mugler video, like a family portrait, and I was like, well, I've got 8. I'm never gonna I'm not gonna be able to find it. And then like a couple of months later, lovely Christophe got in touch, And he was like, oh, I can get you a bottle of Ultra Zest if you want. I was like, sold. You know what I mean? Awesome. So they become irrelevant, they become redundant is probably a better word, you know? Fragrance will always be subjective, says Micah. Yes, it's like opinions on art. I don't know if there's something to this, but after getting covered, I was able to smell 22 on a different level. It was like I could smell the musty water in the petals of a flower bouquet. The Life of American Pie's just picked another video. I'm enjoying his output at the minute. Some of his shorts are famous and thousands of views. It's outrageous. I enjoyed his grill one the other day. He was grilling some, I think he was grilling some peppers, some bell peppers or some chilies maybe. I'm a fan of a grilled pepper, a grilled chili. I think it's a grilled pepper. Could just be semantics that though. Could be calling the same thing by a different name. Rich, I got that vintage girl on Vetiver EDC. The opening is extremely dark, almost like vintage Giacomo de Giacomo, but then it dries down the standard Vetiver formula we all know and love. It's incredibly dark at the beginning, isn't it? It's not quite as bad as Root de Vetiver, which is like, smells like tar. Smells like pitch black green tar. You know when green's so dark it looks black until you shine a light through it and then you can see it's got like green hues. Root de Vetiver is, and I had a vintage one as well, so I might have to give it to Ramsey. Thanks to Alan Hansen, the hero, the legend, the man, the myth, legend. There will never be a right answer to what is the best fragrance. Yes, it's like who's the best football player. So everybody's got their opinions. Cocoa hits all the major points for me. Chypre, Oriental, masculine and femme elements. And it is timeless. Timelessness for me is a big thing. I agree with you massively. If something is timeless, if it can stand the test of time, is the biggest test there is. Time remains undefeated, as we know. And if a perfume or anything can stand up to the test of time, then that's the most solid test, you know? So I agree. Timelessness is extremely important for whichever perfume. This is why, like, people talk about Eau Sauvage being like one of the best perfumes. I don't think it's still. I think it smells dated, Eau Sauvage, which is strange because Chanel's number 5, while it smells classic and classy, it doesn't smell dated. It smells grand. Whereas I think Eau Sauvage smells dated. I think it smells timed. Timed, not timeless, timed. Nothing pops off the skin like Chanel. It wears really well, doesn't it? Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. Don't get punched in the face. The portrait of a lady I would consider the greatest scent of all time, but that's just my taste, says the Scent Reaper. You should do a family portrait of your viewers, says The Life of American Pie. Do you have any perfumes from Dusita? No. I've smelled a couple. Did Dusita do Oud Infini? Because that was foul. Shit smelled like a tire. Interesting. I actually have number 22 arriving tomorrow. Blind, I know, says Herb. Welcome, Herb. I can imagine a family portrait of Rich, says the Scent Reaper. A family standing with their hands on their kids' shoulders whilst wearing vest sweaters and giant yellow duck heads. Yes, big rubber duck heads. I want to go to Mexico for my channel, Chanel's. I'm so curious for La Pausa 22 and Kia de Russi. Just go where they're cheap, isn't it? 22 Centenary, and Chanel doesn't give a shit. They did the same thing with number 5. Scandalous. Why aren't they celebrating 100 years of one of their fragrances? That is insane. You know how many fucking perfume houses would kill to have a perfume like number 5, but then kill to have a perfume that had been around for 100 years? Scandalous. Stupidity. The biggest waste of an opportunity that you will hear. I understand that the pandemic was, like, still going on, you know, but fuck me. Ridiculous. Stephen says, is the wasp in memory of Wasps Rugby? I did notice that's where the wasp is from. But no, it was just because it was a picture of an animal. I like to have pictures of animals on my live streams. I don't know why, I just do. There's no rhyme, no reason to it. There's no like cipher or anything like that. I just do. Lilyborn Faces, that's deep. I agree. Blur will stand the test of time, says Prody. Ugh. Oddly enough, I get more compliments from young women for Eau Sauvage EDT than any other fragrance I own. LDDM would be second. I wore LDDM on Saturday. Fantastic. That is big herb. A View 22 is on my Woody 5 and easy to wear for men in general. I like my Cristal, but I think Cristal is an early spring summer perfume. I'm actually really looking forward to wearing Cristal. I've got the Eau de Cologne, I've got the Eau de Toilette, and I've got the Eau de Parfum, I think. Vintage, the lot. Matrax, welcome. Just got my Tower sample set today. Lone Star is amazing. It is truly amazing. Galen says, I just blind bought Roger, Apex, EDP, and Parfum based on Eugene's recommendations. So all that hair's gone to your head. I've sampled Doucet as the Oud Infinite several times, but can't buy it. Yeah, it's awful. I keep coming back to Monterey. And now I have on my list to purchase, says Alan. Hell of a list. I wore 22 today. Says Lady Bonfy. I do love number 5, Bob. Number 22 is pretty safe one. I'm getting extra. Matrax says also order Givenchy Noctambule. MMW was good for layering. Stephen Tampton says, cool, they went into administration today and I'll know more. That's just fucking scandalous. It shouldn't be allowed to happen, that, you know. It's fucking sports clubs, like, I don't know. It's not fair, because you'll have fans who'll suffer, because it's always the fans who suffer, you know? It's fucking outrageous. Oud Infinite is way too fetal. It's lotion oud, says Peter. I get like a wheel, like a tire. A tire from it. Oud Infinite is very nauseating. That's why I love it. Don't own it. They'll move overnight. Night's in the sweet spot for me. I do realise it's not the world's most outrageous oud. It's not even the world's best oud. It's nowhere near the world's best oud. But for me, as someone who isn't an oud enthusiast, it's just right. It's just on the level where I want to be. That's an example of Mal nailing it, in my opinion, for the Western consumer anyway. Joe says, I get the feeling Chanel just care in general. Take their very criticised advent calendar last year, and it seems they're doing the same thing this year too. I quite like the fecal aspect, but can't stand the rubberiness, says Alan to Peter. Yeah, it's the rubber. It's like Towers oud. Towers oud smells like a you know when you walk into like the wheel, like the tire place to get like a new tire put on your car, and there's like stacks and stacks of tires everywhere. And all you get's like that massive rubber smell, which can't be good for you. I'm absolutely sure that can't be good for you in like some respect. That's what it smells like to me. Omar says, my brother told me LDDM smell like a very old man perfume. But he tells us that with a lot of fragrances. I'm telling him he's wrong. I think so too, maybe more than... I think so too, maybe more than Sauvage. It's one of the first I ever got, says Pradeep to Bob. Eau d'Infini, is this by Dusita? It certainly is. Joe says, I get the feeling that Chanel don't care. I think Chanel see themselves as being like this, like aloof, cold, standoffish brand, like, you know, like the girls at school, like the popular girls at school. That's how they come across these days. Like, we're too good for you. You can't stand with us. You can't be with us unless, like, you're one of, like, the pretty girls, you know? And I just think in 2022, it really, like, there's a shrinking market for that. I don't know they're gonna survive intact over the coming years. Like, I don't think that is a particularly sustainable way to be, but time will tell. All you've got to do is, I follow Dake up, and he is going mad about the Chanel bag quality at the minute. He's bought a couple of bags, and I mean, you would think Chanel quality would be like outstanding, but Dake up's like this can't go on the way they are. Like, he got a bag from them, and it like started wearing away after like a week or so. Well, I don't even think he managed to get it home, and it was already falling to bits, and he was not happy. I don't mind a little poop and live skank. I love skank, but that was just way too much for me, says Pierre. American Pie says, the woman at Dusita is very beautiful, but I think a lot of her stuff is just basic fragrance concepts. Pissarra is a lovely person, says Pierre. American Pie says, there is one good Dusita. Kind of reminds me of Royal Musk with a lot of iris in it. Pradeep says, I would buy an oud by Les Indomptables. Oof. Yes, it's amazing, Rich, says Peter. Best tower, have you tried Lone Star Cowboy? Lone Star Cowboy? Do you mean Lone Star Memories, or do you mean Lonesome Rider? Because I've got both. I can hear you now. Think lost connection, says Peter. Peter, you're miles behind, I think, mate. Totally agree, Rich, says Joe. Hello, Rich. Scent of the day, Rose de Jamal. Nice. Hello, Pat. How are you, sir? Herb, I agree. Girl on have always been much friendlier than Chanel. Cozier, more seductive, less cold bitch. So better than us that Chanel can't even have a discovery set. That's arrogance at its finest. They do those discovery sets, but they're not discovery sets. They're like minis. Matrax, I've got a bottle of Lonesome Rider. What was I saying? That yeah, they've got it. It's not a discovery set. It's a set of minis, but it's very expensive. And they're like 10 mil minis or something like that. That is true, Joe. Take us or leave us. I'm sure Miss Gabrielle thought along those lines. Yo, DJ. Oud Infinite is probably the best out of the lot of Dusita, says DJ. I meant Lonesome Rider. Can't find anyone with it. I've got a bottle. I would send you some, but I don't know where you are. It's extremely strange, though. There's a massive violet leaf note in it that, to me, it gives it this watery petrol. Do you know when you see on the TV, like a picture of like, not a landscape, but like a road, and there's like the road's hot, and it gives off that like watery mirage kind of vibe. Like it smells a bit like that. It's got this kind of unsettled, hot air, fire, petrol kind of thing going on. I prefer Lone Star Memories, I must admit. Joe says, oh yes, they're 4 mil minis, ridiculously expensive. Yes. People on big defense mode over Uncut Gem. Why can't people just accept that it's made a cent for the average Joe, says DJ. It's really bad. Same with Dior, says Mike. Dior's not as bad as Chanel. All the staff are the same at Chanel. They're all very, oh, what are you doing here? Chanel consumer, maybe the most loyal in the world, think bags. No, I agree. The people are completely besotted with them. But I don't necessarily think that they deserve it. Good day, Erin. How are you? Lonesome Rider, says DJ. That one got cut alongside a lot of the wilder towers. I'm glad I got a bottle. I think I got the last bottle in Europe off Zhao's friend. Ricardo, who does, well, what's the place in Portugal called? It's not Emporium. Oh, God, sorry. Oh, what they're called again? It's Zhao's mate. He's called Ricardo, and I can't remember what his shop's called. But he's a good lad, and he sent us, just before Brexit, he sent me his last bottle of Lonesome Rider. I think I got the last one in Europe. I even got in touch with Mr. Tower. I got in touch with Andy Tower, and he emailed us back. Sorry, Richard, we got rid of it, and I can't ship you any of the bottles we've got left here because Switzerland won't allow it. And I was like, oh, Barbara. Michael says it's beautiful here on this side of the mountain. Does it have similar DNA to Lone Star Memories? Not for me, Matrax. Not for me. It's very different. Herb says, this might be crazy, but Uncut Gem isn't the first underwhelming mall, in my opinion. But everyone will disagree with me about what the others are. Angelique Soula-Pluie isn't for me, etc. Well, tell us what you think, and then people will tell you whether they agree or not. It doesn't matter if people disagree. Hello, Bri. If radiation exposure had a smell, it'd be Uncut Gem. I think that about Platinum Egoist. It's got that, anything with like an overly metallic note and it smells like Chernobyl. That DJ, that's a red rag to a duck. I treat him mean, keep him keen, says Herb. Did you see where Tom Ford re-releases Bois Marocain? It's in the shops where I am now. I don't think it's very good, personally. Bryce is Scent of the Day Vetiver Extraordinaire. It's Malt Week. Nice. I like that one. It's grown on us a lot. Chanel staff and boutique are much better than the ones in Selfridges, Harrods. I mean, you can just imagine how much of a complex the people who work in Harrods will have. Like when they work at Chanel, like you can just like, it's like that, but like cubed, you know? Just that, like just the up themselvesness of those people will just be awful. They'll be so far up themselves, they'll be shitting out their mouths. Also ordered some of the Towerville Flash series. Have you tried any? Fuchuli was crazy. I think I've tried, is it Amber Flash or Rose Flash? That was quite good. French Lover and Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012 coming in the mail today. Good stuff. I actually prefer the 2017, would you believe? Excuse me whilst I hydrate. True Proud Eat Monsieur isn't really my thing either. Geranium Pour Monsieur and Vetiver Extraordinaire are the best malls in my opinion. I like Monsieur, but I was torn over whether to get a bottle or not. It's so dry. Geranium Pour Monsieur, that is absolutely incredible in the heat. And Vetiver Extraordinaire are the best malls. I might do a mall family portrait. I love it. It's probably my favourite Vetiver, even more than Sycamore, says Bri. Woo. I like Sycamore. I'd like Sycamore EDT. It's a little bit sharper at the top.
The EDP just strikes as just like being a little bit too close to Encre Noir. I'd rather wear that. I think Bigarade Concentrates or the Meh from Frederick Mall. It's not a bad fragrance, I just don't see it more than a simple citrus. DJ says Root de Vetiver is my favourite vetiver at the minute. And it's funny you say that because I was talking about Root de Vetiver earlier. I had a vintage bottle of Root de Vetiver which I gave to Ramsey. It was only had like 15 mil in it or something. But it was black. It was like tar. Scent Reaper says I have 2017 as well. Yeah, I prefer that one, I think. Alan Hansen says the only staff at Harrods that Wes and I found disagreeable were most of the Louis Vuitton reps. Yeah, you said it. It's pretty scandalous. Like, did you ever find that bottle in Michigan that you were looking for, Alan? Never felt with LV as I don't see their juices worth my time. Same with Gucci. I have the vintage Root de Vetiver, says DJ. It is dark. Herb says, I quite like the Girl on Men's Lidge is probably one of my favourites. It's hard to beat the Encre Noir line for a vetiver scent, especially for the price. Encre Noir smells bad to me, says DJ. I like the Encre Noirs, and I think you're right about the price, Herb. Is it Herb? Sorry, no, Scent Reaper. But I can. If your nose is finely attuned to vetiver, then you're probably going to notice that the Encre Noir line isn't your favourite. You know? Because I don't want to say it's not basic. It's not basic at all. It's just like, they're so cheap. Have you ever seen the retail prices of them? Encre Noir retail is like 110 quid. Oh, God. It's very expensive. Well, I don't suppose it is that expensive, but it is when you consider that the only place anybody ever talked about being able to find it was discounters, you know? Some fragrance, though. For the money, is what I should say. Encre Noir or Extreme? Oh, I like the Extreme, to be honest. But I do like the original as well. Being Mall Week, are the bottles discounted, says Pat Lester? I don't know. I think he's just wearing Mall every day this week. I think that's what he means. No luck yet with that Louis Vuitton, but we haven't exhausted the search just yet, says Alan. I noticed EDT of Encre Noir and go nose blind too, says the Scent Reaper. Encre Noir is 50% ISO-E. That wouldn't surprise us. American Pie says, I respectfully can't handle the ISO-E note in Encre Noir. I imagine it's huge. I mean, Natalie Lawson makes a lot of what become cheap perfumes very well. You see the work she's done with like Bentley and obviously Lalique and Lancôme and Zadig and Voltaire. These can all be found very good prices at aftermarket sellers. She's got a certain style. I'd like to see what she could do with top materials. You know? But I don't know that she'll ever get that chance. I think she's been typecast or pigeonholed. You know. Marc Antoine Barrois and Salade also doing dark vetiver. Doesn't that have a rhubarb note? Matrax says, have you tried anything from Kerosene? Yes, I've got Follow. I want to smell Followed as well, and I got his sample set. It's good, apart from the fact that they come in fucking dabbing samples, and I hate them. God, they're awful. I wish you would put them into bloody sprayers, but you get a lot of them in his sample set, you know. Canfield Cedar's quite nice. I wasn't a big fan of the licorice one. Which one was that? If Duncan was here, he'd be able to remind us. Have you tried anything from Cars right there? Woohoo! Catching a stream. I'm driving, so I won't be able to comment much. Welcome, Ton Jamo. Louis Vuitton wallet to my number one. Juice, not at all. Yeah, I don't rate them. I've smelled most of them, and I just think they're a bit pants. I think they're overrated. I think they're vastly overpriced. But there you go. Alan says, I quite like many offerings from Kerosene, but I feel there is a moderate amount of redundancy in the catalogue. Stephen Thienel at Maison Violette Lawson works with good materials. I haven't smelled any of those. Rich, what do you think of Zedigan Voltaire? This is him. I gave my bottle away. With blind buying, if I love incense, depends how big you... No. It's more of a black pepper vanilla thing for me. It's got incense in it, but it's not I wouldn't necessarily call it an incense perfume, if that makes sense. DJ says, Kerosene is so diabetic to my nose. What, very sweet. Alan says, Blackmail and Follow are gobsmacking. Follow's tremendous. I really like Follow. Smells like someone who takes a whole row on the bus. Are you doing text to speech, John Moe? Speech to text, even? Cheap Imitations said LV are not really good. I can trust him, but I still didn't try them. They're massively overpriced. They're not great, like. They're not great. Matrax says, Alan, I was looking at Blackmail. I'll be sure to check them out. Bob says, next to Harrods is Selfridges, the next top tier store in London. If Spy and Mash was still here, he'd be able to tell you. Possibly. Anyone ever tried any Hiram Green? I've tried Hyde and I thought it was shit. I'm sure that's Hiram Green. Is that the Dutch guy? Erin says, Rich, curious, have you had any of the older red bottles of Metro Parfumé Elegantia fragrances? I have. I've still got Racine. And I had Route de Vetiver, which I gave away. I have a few and they are peculiar, but very interesting. Yes. Harrods, Selfridges, Fortnum and Mason, says DJ. Liberty, Fennec. We've got a Fenix up here. Fennec's actually really good. I like Fenix. Two of my favourite stores, Bobby says, Michael. Boots? Don't be silly, Bob. Boots is just a chemist, what you call a pharmacy. Origins are good for cheapish girl on. Yeah, they're alright. Boots isn't a luxury store, it's a chemist. Yes, that's right, DJ. You might like Sketch, which is a dry patchouli amber, and the general line leans more femme, though, says Stephen. Hello, Justin Height, how are you? I hope you are well. Loved when Killer would say boots, boots. Killer's video the other day was really good. He was lucky to escape from Stephen Sprout. Stephen Sprout, the killer. Sorry. Oh God. I'll go on until 2 hours. DJ says, daily reminder, Zerjoff is shit and Montal and Sarah, that is all. I agree. I agree. Please, remind anytime you like. I wouldn't want anyone to forget, sis. You ever try Portos, Rich? Yes, I had a bottle which I also sold to Ramsey. I got 2 bottles at $30 each the other day. Did you email me and tell me that? Or did you tell me that before? I'm sure I've heard that before. Have you tried Fahrenheit Absolute? I've got a couple of bottles, yes. How does it compare to the Le Parfum? So it's myrrh, it's richer. No, it's not necessarily richer. It's just, it's a little bit sweeter. It's more resinous. It's darker. In a different way, darker. It has less leather and more sort of resins, you know. Richie don't care for tuberose, correct, says Alan. Correct, Alan. DJ says, you ever tried a Scotta pour on, Mitch? Yes, I've got a bottle. Well, so I've got a bottle. I destroyed one. That shit is garbage. Do you know why people hyped it up? I don't think it's garbage. I don't think it's the world's greatest fragrance, though. Although I do like Escada stuff. I do like Escada stuff. I like Magnetism, which smells a bit like cola, but they're not worth it. I mean, the fucking prices they go for now is insane. These fragrances weren't expensive back in the day, and now they are. And it's like, what? Whoa, excuse me. Would it be redundant to have both, says Scent Reaper? Both of what? Fahrenheit Absolute? No, it wouldn't be. I've got both, and I don't think it's redundant. Fahrenheit Absolute I would recommend to almost anybody. Like, it's fucking brilliant. I remember when Robes Awake called it the devil's juice, and it does. As soon as he said that, it made perfect sense. It does smell like something the devil would wear. It's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit incensey. It's a little bit dark. It's a little bit dangerous. But it's cool as well. And I don't mean like cold. I mean like it's cool. It's like bad lad, you know? It's good stuff. Thoughts on Halston 112, anyone? I love it, says Justin. Got vintage and new. That and Z14 have both been discounted, but you still get them for like a tenner. Whoa. I haven't smelled that one, or if I have smelled it, I can't remember it. Pat Lester says, are more bottles ever discounted, or are they set on their prices like Chanel? The best you're going to hope for with the malls, right, is to get them discounted at retail. Like say you go into Harvey Nichols, or you go into Selfridges in the South Frederick Mall, and it's like you'll get Harvey Nichols or Selfridges will have a sale on, and Frederick Mall will be included in that sale, you know. Excuse me. Montala's like a mini fire extinguisher of beastly yuck. Anusha is Justin funny. Lots of people love and talk about Z40 and hardly anyone ever gives 112 any props. Bariatrian says Bad Lad EDP first release from Duck's perfume brand. That's right. I love Narciso Rodriguez. For him, got a Fahrenheit vibe with that wet cement thing going on, says Justin. It's more the violet leaf, but I do like that. I do like Narciso Rodriguez for when the weather's shocking. You know, when it's windy and rainy and fucking miserable. Really good perfume. Coeur de Jean, like one of Coeur de Jean's best. You know? One of Coeur de Jean's best. And I mean, he's made some fucking great stuff. We can say what we like about him, and I often do. But if you look at his like top 5 fragrances that he's made, his top 10 fragrances that he's made some corking stuff. Eau Noir for me is probably his greatest fucking perfume, like. Have you tried Superstitious? Yes, but I can't remember it, sorry. Sandra says top 10 geriatric fragrances. Geriatric. Eau Sauvage for me. Eau Sauvage smells old. Don't like Eau Sauvage, to be honest. Right, I'm going to the bathroom. Give us a second. Oh, back hurts. Only you. Oh, dear me. Once again, friends, I have returned. All of a sudden, I'm feeling very sleepy. You are feeling very sleepy. Well, you might not be, but I am. Oh, dear. I'll take my socks off this time. I see Michael Harness has left us. Oh. Where are we then? Celia, what are you doing? 1 to 12 more and new. Such a great barbershop, says Justin. Also try Girlfriend for Pharrell Williams, says Barry Atron. You really love that stuff, don't you, mate? It's good, don't get us wrong. I'm not saying it's not. Yeah, for him, ADT is great. Musk and violet leaf, very simple. Yeah, that's the thing, you see. I always really respect that. People who do simple things, right? And people who do simple things, but they always, they're an improvement on more complicated things. Don't get us wrong, sometimes complicated things are an improvement on simple things, but I think if you can get it to go that way, that's like the key to... It's the key to innovation, it's the key to progress, making complicated things more simple. Got 100 mil for $50 at a discount perfume shop for him ADP. That's a great price. I remember just after it got discontinued, I bought a backup, 100 mil backup for about 41 quid on eBay, and I thought, I bet that's the last time you see it for anywhere near that price. Do you know what I mean? Dear me. A hidden gem from 1985 is Adidas. Excuse me. Is Adidas. I see Enchanté has it in stock and at a cool price. Yes. I'm getting that soon. Anyone try it? It's the best Adidas fragrance by far. And Bob being cheeky with his lemon. Sleep well, my fragrance friend, said Duck. Cheers, Michael. You mean Adidas or Halston, says Justin. Nick N. Welcome to you. How are you, sir? It is absolutely blowing a gale here, Joe. Do not worry about that. I live in a valley, but I live near the top of the valley, right? And it is literally like a valley. And I live on the brow of a hill as well, so it's like the wind comes up and over the top of the hill and just slams into the house. It's hard to explain the topography, but it's a bit of a pig. Strangely, I can describe fragrances better than I can describe topography. Anyone try Russian leather by Memo? No, I'm not. I'm not big on those memos. Justin says Calvin OJ is expensive. I have always wanted to try it, mate. I've got a bottle. I've got a bottle. I would send you a sample. You're not in the UK though, are you? If you're ever in the UK, let us know and I will sort you out with a suite of samples, including Calvin OG. I've actually got a review on it. I could do with reviewing some individual perfumes. I should really pull my finger out and start fucking doing that. It is supposed to be like a fragrance fucking review community channel thing, but nobody does that anymore. I'm feeling sleepy. I blame those soap bubbles floating across the screen, says Joe. That's not a bad call, actually. They're very hypnotic, strangely, in their way, aren't they? I like it how they're against a black background, because if I was to move my camera around, you would see whatever the background, you know what I mean? It's not usually a black background. It only looks like that, because if I turn the bubbles off, it would just be a black background, you know? But because what I'm trying to do is go for this being like a radio broadcast rather than like a live stream where we'll have people on and everybody like talks. I'm quite happy to sit here and just talk, you know, like so you can get on with like stuff, you know, if you want to drive, you're not missing anything on the screen. If you want to cook, you know, so you can just have it on in the background, because that's what I do with mine. Now I realize not everybody wants that. Some people think the bubbles are shit. Some people like the bubbles, but I think the idea I'm going for is that this is more of like a podcast, but like like a radio show. So you can just sit and do something else with your fingers if you want, you know, if you're like me and it's like you can't still, or you can't just focus on one thing. So that's the vibe I'm going for. It's only 2:46 in the afternoon here in Modesto, California. 246? 246? What? Jesus. Surely you must be on fire. Justin says, I heard from Earl Williams' Girl is really great. Yeah, it is. It's nice. It is nice. I won't lie. Bottle's insane. But it is nice. Justin, the home of American graffiti. Justin, he told me Adidas OG is close to Calvin OG. Wow, man, makes sense now. I really want to try it. Breezy, says Joe. Best Adidas team sport. You ever tried Fleeting Moment, Mitch? I haven't, DJ. What is it? Justin says, yes, please do individual reviews. That would be amazing. Yeah, I definitely want to get back to doing that. I need to watch a couple of my old ones just to see. Yes, please do an interview. Oh, sorry. I like your approach, Rich. Thank you, Joe. I like your approach as well, Joe. Nick says, my scent of the day is a Stefan Humbert Luca that the Cherry store in Rome gave me, but they didn't label it. Should be fun trying to work out which one it is. I'm going to torture myself and try the new Stefan Humbert Luca 777 stuff, which I know will be bad. Stefan Humbert Luca, does anybody follow Rampton Vedati, RVM Vedati, on YouTube? He does a lot of Stefan Humbert Luca stuff. I'm pretty sure that he's either friends with Stefan Humbert Luca or the talk, you know. They are known to each other. I don't know if he gets free bottles or whether he's been a massive fan and he's got in touch with them online, but they have definitely discussed. So I don't know about their relationship, but Rampton Vedati really likes Stefan Humbert Lucas. Richie, you have a national airport in your town. Yeah, I know. I was looking at maps. I know, it's Newcastle Airport. It's near Ponteland. Justin, yep, my mum went to school with George Lucas. That's a claim to fame. He's in a yearbook. I live 30 seconds from the high school. Mally Sense says, I like coming across single review videos when I search for the name of a fragrance rather than a top 10 that doesn't even include what I searched for. Yeah. Erin says, found a 50ml bottle of Alessandro del Acqua Women's in the clearance section of the perfume website. Can't find it anywhere anymore or selling for 10 times the price. Sometimes you do get lucky. Sometimes it happens. If you search long enough and hard enough, You will come across good stuff. That's how I found Le Parfumier. It's how I found Anouge and Enchanté. It's how you make your, I say you make your own look, but if you work and you get the little bit of, you know, if you work, if you put the graft in, if you try, you can get there. And sometimes stuff will just pop up, you know, but you make your own look sort of thing. So, well done, Aaron. Anyone try Elizabeth Taylor Passion for men and women? Yes, I've got the men's one. I've got a vintage men's one. It is actually surprisingly nice. Like, surprisingly nice. I was, like, shook. You know? Stefano Luca 777 has several fragrances I like. They are overpriced, like 2/3 of the fragrance world, says Shiva. And you are in walking distance to McDonald's. Not, I mean, fuck me, walking distance is, it's not that fucking close, actually. It's about 2 to 3 miles away, and it's down and uphill, like steep hills as well. It would take us about 40 minutes to get to the McDonald's, and I'm not doing that. 2 minutes by car, though, you know. Anyway, friends, it is now my time to go. I am very tired. Celia is giving me the eyes because the light's still on. I'm very thirsty. And I do need some sleep. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you for liking, for commenting. Thanks for joining. That's not your bad, Bob. It's just a bit of a trek. Everything's a bit of a trek for me at the minute, Bob, with me hip. But not to worry. Thanks, everybody. It has been good. I will see you all again very soon. Bye.